Bay. Let's look at the most dropped list. And, again, these are some players maybe going on a bye week, as we see with Devontae Freeman. But also we're looking at some guys that are coming off some struggling performances. We talked about Mike Davis and fantasy managers rage dropping him. Ramondre Stevenson in the situation that's going on there in terms of what's happening with his situation in terms of being, more game script, week-to-week dependent. Darnell Mooney, I think fantasy managers might be giving up on a little bit too quickly. I want to talk about a player, though, that is being dropped, at least in some capacity, in Damien Williams and the Bears situation. Khalil Herbert still looking like the guy right now. Adam, is that how you're approaching it? Khalil Herbert is the lead running back for Chicago until David Montgomery comes back?
Absolutely. Khalil Herbert has the longest carry by a running back against the Packers this season and the longest carry by a running back against the Buccaneers this season. I think he is pretty legit, and I like him a lot this week, even in a tough matchup, and I don't see much of a reason to keep Damien Williams around.
Yeah, you don't know how much Damien Williams was limited last week by the fact that he'd missed so much time with COVID, so I wouldn't mind holding on to him for one more week, but I mostly agree with Adam. I think this is Khalil Herbert's backfield. I think Herbert's going to be a borderline top 12 running back until Montgomery returns.
All right, so, we'll see if he takes advantage of another potentially tough matchup for San Francisco. They have been pretty good against the run, but last week, as we saw, Jonathan Taylor over 100 yards, and they have given up a touchdown to running back in 4 straight games. The reason you see the numbers on this list is 9 through 20 is most of the top 8 guys were DSTs and kickers. So, we wanted to show you at least the more relevant fantasy options here. Adam, you said Ricky Seals-Jones is your favorite streaming option. Heath got him as the last clue and named that player. Why you still like Ricky Seals-Jones with a tough matchup against Denver?
Because he never leaves the field. He plays 100% of the snaps, and he's the number 2 target for Taylor Heineke, and he's playing pretty well, and he's a tight end. So that's basically it. By the way, that was very good, Heath. I do want to say I did get it before Heath. I don't know why Heath thought he messed up on that name, that player. I thought it was pretty obvious. But I would have won that round. I just want to throw that out. I would have won that round.
All right, maybe we'll have you on to challenge the champion here, and Heath Cummings, because certainly Pete Briscoe's not getting the job done. Ricky Seals-Jones. For you, I know you still like him as well. I want to talk about one other guy there, because you had said with Believe It or Not on Monday you would hold on to the Ravens running backs through their bye week. You still feel the same way after a couple of days to digest it, knowing that some of the moves that fantasy managers had to make?
I have Devontae Freeman on probably 6 or 7 different teams. I did not drop him on any of those teams. I think there are certainly circumstances where you have to have a starter this week and he's your worst player and you drop him. I understand that, but I wasn't going to drop him for Kenneth Gainwell if I didn't have to start Kenneth Gainwell this week.
Gotcha. All right, so hold on. Freeman the only one, or Murray also?
Freeman's the only one I had on my team. I'd like to hold Murray, but not as much.
All right, so we'll see how those guys operate. Again, would not be surprised if by the next time we get the Ravens on the field in Week 9, they've made a trade to acquire a running back. So just keep that on your mind in keeping Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray, maybe Tyson Williams on your fantasy roster.